Okay, this video gonna show you how to remove an insert manifold out of a Volkswagen TSI. Know your patterns, like put everything in order. Whatever you remove last, that's gonna be first, like first, second, third, and all that. Because you don't want to be all crazy and then you don't know where things go or who goes first, who goes second. Okay, so this is air pipe that I removed last, so it's gonna go in first. And in this case, I got the bracket that I removed first, then I remove the throttle body. So uh, this is just to let you know, put everything in order and then follow the reverse order. Okay, put everything one after the other. Okay, that way everything goes back, you'll be quicker. Okay, this T1 here has a P2015 for code. Usually P2015 is for the intake manifold position sensor. At this point, you're gonna replace it. There's a bulletin on P2014 and P2015. You got these four codes, and you most likely need an intake manifold. So I'm already sold this one, and I'm just gonna go ahead and do it for those faults. Okay, I'm gonna show you guys step by step on how to do it. First, I'm gonna take out the intake interior box. I'm gonna take out the mass airflow connector right here. Okay, with a 230, there's a bolt right here. 230, 230 right here. Right in the box. Okay, air filter housing comes out. Okay, pop it off. Right there. It pops right off once you get the 230 out. Right here, 230 out. And so I'm gonna take this pipe off. Okay, just pull this up. Just lay it there. Don't remove that pipe. Okay, pipe comes off. Let's go ahead and take out the oil filter. Okay, as you can see, oil filter is out. Now let's go ahead and disconnect the hose from here with the pliers. Disconnect it right here for the N80 purge valve. Loosen the clamp here, because that pipe we're going to take out. The pipe going to the throttle body. Okay, disconnect the throttle body. Okay, and I'm going to remove this pipe right here. This pipe and put on the side. Okay, you're going to remove the fuel line here with a 17 millimeter. Fuel line going to the high pressure pump. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and remove these guys, 1 and 2 right here. Okay, and these you're gonna be dangling there, but you don't remove the line, just loosen it because it's bolted to the intake manifold. So you're gonna remove the bolt and put the line on the side. Okay, unplug this guy right here for the intake manifold runners. Okay, you could remove this bracket right here. You could do it later, you could do it now. Okay. Let's go ahead and unplug this vacuum line right here. Right here, this one. This one. This one right here. Okay, so let's go over the things I told you to disconnect. Okay, I told you to disconnect the, you could disconnect the air pressure sensor here, intake air pressure sensor. See how the purge valve just stays there. Okay, the hose here. Okay, see, loosen there, but then take out the screw all the way out for the clamp. And this bolt right here, for this pipe right here. For this pipe right here, there's a bolt here in the middle, right there, 230. Okay, loosen it, so you could bring the pipe back away from the engine. Okay, I don't know if you could see it right there. right there. See? Right there. Okay. So the bracket stays there. Now you see this bracket right here that holds this connector. Unplug this connector and slide the other part out of the bracket. Okay. Then you're gonna remove the bracket with a 230. There's 231 here, right here, and then another one right here. Okay. And this removing this bracket gonna give you access to the fuel line, so you can remove the fuel line. Okay. So with a 17, you're gonna remove the fuel line from here, and then you're gonna get around here. Once you get this bracket off, you're gonna get over here with a 17 and remove the fuel line. Okay. You see that little bracket that you removed there that was holding the connectors? Okay. Now you could have sex for removing the line. So let's go ahead and, guys, place a sharp rag. Put a rag over the line here. Fuel, because you don't want fuel to go into your face. Okay. So like this. Okay. Put a rag here so nothing goes in your face. Okay. Please don't forget. Okay. Got a 230 right here. Okay, then disconnect the line from the bottom, 17, see? You gotta kind of wiggle it to get it out of the hole here. I mean, the line you could bring the line out. You could leave this part of the line hooked and bring it out with the whole manifold, okay? And then you could remove the bottom of the line, this part right here. You could do it outside of the car, but this part gotta be removed. This one going to a high pressure pump, remove it from here. But you could leave it hooked here on the manifold and then take it out once the intake manifold is outside, so you could then swap it to the new manifold. Okay, here to the intake manifold diaphragm, there's a connector here on the side. There's a connector going to this guy, and you're gonna disconnect. Okay. Okay, let's go ahead and remove the switch for the intake manifold flap. This is the flap position sensor. This is what tells you in what position the flap is. Okay, right here. Gently spread it open here on the tab. Be careful not to break it. See, it's partially loose already. So see that it's already partially loose. So when I start pulling this out, he's gonna snap off right here. Okay. And when you go back, plug this switch, plug this connector before installing the intake manifold. As you're going down, plug this guy, then bolt the intake manifold to the cylinder head. Okay. Let's go ahead. You see this top right here? Get this bracket off right here. You gotta push these tabs here and disconnect this thing from the intake manifold. This is like a harness. It has one there, and then there's another one. There's another one a little further. Okay. So you got two tabs like this. Okay. The one is a little further. Then you gotta do it with a screwdriver. Okay. With a 90-degree angle will help you a little more. Okay. Okay, now let's disconnect. Let's go step by step. Okay, you following me, guys? Okay, now let's disconnect the high pressure sensor here connector. This guy got a there's a tab on it, and then you could at the same time you could pry over here. So there's a tab here, you know. Pull up on the tab, and then gently pry here in between the connector and the sensor. Okay. Okay. Came out. See that? That's the sensor for the high pressure sensor. The connector for the high pressure sensor. Okay, it's already disconnected. Okay, for the next step, I'm gonna explain you why we're gonna remove the bottom shield. But let's go ahead and remove the bottom shield with a T20. I mean, that's a T25. Yeah, T25, and I believe T45 right here. These both Torx. Okay, so you need a T45 and a T25. Okay. And let's go ahead and remove this bottom shield. Okay, there's also three T25 here in the front. 1, 2, 3. Let's go ahead and do that first. Now, and then this snaps right here. Hooks. It hooks right into here. And then you put the 3 T25, okay? this is that bracket that I showed you from the top before. So you're gonna have a 230 right here, and then you're gonna unhook it from here. Okay, this clamp comes right over. You just gotta pop it partially. You don't have to remove it all the way. It pops out, okay, halfway, and then you just pop these holes out, and then you're gonna bring all this whole pipe down. Okay, so I got that 230 out from the middle right here. And see the clamp how it's popped off, but it's not all the way out. You can slide this thing to the back, okay? And you can bring it down, see? Yeah, this section, see, as you can see, the throttle body has the 4 T30s there that you can remove from underneath. And there's a bracket also there that we gotta remove. There's a bracket that holds the intake manifold to the block that you gotta get. You need a 13 millimeter and a 10 size triple square, and that way you have access to remove the intake manifold. And there's that bracket, guys, right here. See the bracket is a 13 millimeter here. That's why I take out the throttle body. Okay, there's a 10 millimeter nut, 13 millimeter nut here, and then you got a 10 triple square here on the bottom. Hold the bottom, okay? Looks like this. Show you the picture. Okay, 10 triple square.
Next door.
That was throttle body, right? I'm away. Thank you. This is the throttle body. Okay. Remove that to get to that bracket, okay? That's what I'm saying. Take a peek in there. If you don't see that bracket right here, then the throttle body, this guy, comes up with a manifold. This guy, okay? So, okay. I'm gonna take out the bracket. Okay, as you lift the intake manifold, be careful as some of the harness stay plugged into the injectors. Okay, like in that case there you see some of the harness there on the injectors. Okay, right there, because one of the injectors came up with the intake manifold. Just be careful, be gently. You don't want to break anything. I would say like a 90-degree angle pick and unhook the harness to whatever injector still connected. Okay, and this is one of the injectors that came up with a rail, just wiggle. That one was partially off, but just to give you an idea how it comes off. And the high pressure fuel sensor right there, the one with the orange coloring, that stays with the rail. You don't have to remove it, okay? And that pipe, lube it and squeeze it and pry it out. Take him out too. And then turn it over and 230. You could get the 230s out right there. You got one there. Okay, and then you got another one on the right side that will get the rail off. Okay, and that should do it. Also remove the intake air temperature sensor, and that should do it. As you can see, that's the new manifold there. That's brand new one, and the only thing that's gonna stay in the old one is the diaphragm. That diaphragm you don't swap. It comes with the new intake manifold. That's why I opened the intake runners, okay, by vacuum. So that you don't want to touch, and that's the old intake. See, that stays there. Okay, because the new one already has it right there. So that's something good to know. Okay, the diaphragm stays. Okay, and to this point, until this point, if you're doing it right, that's the all the parts that you're gonna swap from the old one to the new one. See that? Those are the only parts that you're gonna swap over. Okay, don't be afraid to loop anything. That's the old manifold right there. I already removed all the parts. So if something's sticking, something don't want to come out, you could loop the pipes. You could just put lubricants so those pipes could come out easy, like in that case right there. See, I looped it. So something to look for. Don't be afraid to loop stuff. Okay, and that's the only parts that we're gonna swap from the old manifold. Okay, and you should be fine. Injectors are put new seals on the injectors and lube the seals with motor oil. That should be okay. So everything goes in flush. And as you can see, some of the old seals still there. You want to remove them. You don't want to double seal the injectors because you're gonna have a few leaks. So that's something to watch for.